Hello and welcome to 30 Second Drill, where we are less predictable than the Buffalo Bills. I'll start off this week by letting everyone know that my colleague, Shane Campbell, is dominating in the picks, leading 89 to 82. And to lose from here would be like taking Trubisky over Mahomes or moving up in the draft to take Jordan Love and leaving Jalen Hurts on the board. How you doing, front runner?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks, and I couldn't stuff up that bad if I tried.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't think you can,
No,
but let's watch you do it.
let's see.
Um, I'm not overreacting this week. I'm just giving two statements. The first being that no one in the AFC East is a threat to Cincinnati, Kansas City, Baltimore, or Jacksonville. The second, I told you at the start of the year, Josh Allen would be a top five quarterback by the year's end. He is number five at best. If anyone has him above Burrow, Mahomes, Jackson, or Lawrence, they're insane. I have him below Hurts too. Herbert has been uninspiring this year. If Buffalo stick with McDermott, Stroud will be breathing down Josh Allen's neck by the end of next season. Will Levis will as well if Vrabel stays. If the Chargers get any coach, like even McCarthy, well, that's actually quite offensive to McCarthy, who's a billion times the coach of Brandon Staley. Herbert will leapfrog him. So here's a list of the quarterbacks that will be ahead of Josh Allen by the end of next season if McDermott stays. Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Lawrence, Hurts, Herbert, Stroud, Levis, Goff, Caleb Williams, and Kirk Cousins. Yep, I said Goff and Kirk Cousins.
You're gonna. I'll pass over a lot of that, but you're gonna go with Kirk Cousins off a ruptured Achilles will be better than Josh Allen next year.
Yeah, because he's going to take the NFC while being at San Francisco.
So okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm going with.
Let's wait and see. And Caleb Williams, that's interesting, but we'll see.
Well, he's going with the Pats, and Vrabel will be their coach. So
And the last two QBs at the Pats have worked out swimmingly, haven't they?
they've gone okay.
Cam Newton,
Hey,
Mac
yeah,
Jones,
he did all right.
Bailey
He,
Zappi.
yeah, that's three. So we're definitely due. Let's get into it. We'll start with the Panthers at the Bears. Panthers coming off a 27-13 loss to the Colts, and the Bears coming off a 24-17 loss to the Saints. I'll start with the Panthers. I'd be lying if I said I didn't give a crap about this game. I want to see if Bajent can outdo Young. We've spoken about how the Panthers have stuffed their number one pickup. And as for the Bears, I think they actually need to win this to tighten their grip on that number one pick. If Carolina win, it becomes a crapshoot of who sucks more, the Pats, the Cards, the Panthers, the Bears, or the Giants. I'm taking the Bears.
That's all fair. I hard to agree with any of that. Disagree with any of that. For the Panthers, at this stage of the season, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the teams that don't care about winning, and that's a lot of the team. So we'll whip through it a bit quicker now. Bryce Young, he doesn't have a lot to throw to, but he looked absolutely awful against the Colts, and I'm expecting him to look the same this week. And the Bears, until Justin Fields is 100% playing, I'm not talking about this team. Taking the Panthers.
Now we are moving on to the Colts at the Patriots. So the Colts coming off a 27-13 win at the Panthers, and the Patriots coming off a loss 20-17 to the Commanders. This game is in Germany for reference sake. Over to you, pal.
So the Colts will have the best quarterback in the country this week, so you might as well make the most of it. And they're currently only one win out of the wild card spot, so they still have plenty to play for. The Patriots, Mac Jones actually looks like a competent quarterback on first and second down, though. That's it. Third and fourth down, he was not good at all. Couldn't get a win against a team that traded their two best D linesmen, and maybe the Pats can leave half the team in Germany when they get rolled this week. I'm taking the Colts.
I think that's all pretty accurate. I want to start off by saying, firstly, poor Germany, going from Dolphins and Chiefs to this stinking piece of crap. They're winning with Minshew, the Colts. They have a bright future ahead of them if they can get Richardson fit and keep him fit. The Pats are going to be stomped. The fall from grace hurts. What are they going to do? Overhaul it? I hope they do. I've heard some Vrabel rumors, and that'd be cool. I'm taking the Colts. So moving on to the Texans at the Bengals. The Texans coming off a 39-37 win over the Buccaneers, and the Bengals coming off a 24-18 win over the Bills. Starting with the Texans, Stroud is the dude. I know it was the Bucks, but this kid has it. The Texans have their guy, no kicker, they're down weapons, and he gets it done. Stroud, Lawrence, Richardson, Levis. What an entertaining division this is going to be for years to come. As for the Bengals, they're cerebral with a fit Joe Burrow, and they are marching. Their next three are intense after the Texans, which is the Ravens, Steelers, and Jags. Win those, plus this one, and taking the conference becomes a possibility. Can Burrow win an MVP after those first four games? I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm really looking forward to this game. Probably the most out of any non-Australian team of the week. So, Texans. Stroud had 5 tutties, 470 yards, and won the game with 6 seconds remaining. Like, the Texans 100% have their dude. And Stroud to Tank Dell versus Burrow to Chase will be a lot of fun to watch this week. Bengals, they can't lose any more conference games or they're going to lose out on all tiebreakers moving forward. Defense has been impressive and Burrow is getting better each week. This is, game of the week, I think, taking the Bengals.
Moving on to the Packers at the Steelers. The Packers coming off a 20-3 win over the Rams, and the Steelers coming off a 20-16 win over the Titans. So, for the Packers, good luck to love. For the Steelers, they'll destroy the Packers, even if Kenny Pickett plays poorly, which would be startling to see. To clarify, I think Pickett is somewhere between 18th to 32nd in the league, depending on what is happening. I don't think he'll take the Steelers anywhere in a division with Burrow and Jackson, but I'm taking the Steelers in this game.
The Packers, they got the win, and this is a perfect time to re-sign Love to a max contract deal. 5 years, throw the money at him. Here's your guy, Packers. Do it now. Steelers, look, I somewhat agree with what you said about Pickett. He's not the guy to lead a team to a Super Bowl, even a conference championship. And look, especially in this division, but he's not down to 32 in the league. Like 25 is the worst he'll fall. However, if he plays mistake-free football, the Steelers can win most games, and I'm taking the Steelers in this one.
It's fair. I might talk to you a bit more about that at the end.
We shall.
Moving on to the Titans at the Bucks. The Titans coming off that 20-16 loss against the Steelers, and the Bucks coming off that 39-37 loss to the Texans. Go for it, mate.
So the Titans, they are really fun to watch. They have a beast Derrick Henry at running back and a quarterback with an absolute cannon. I can't see them pushing for a wild card this season, and there's not too many more winnable games, but yeah, they're a lot of fun, and I'm going to take the Titans off the extra rest. Buccaneers, 4 losses in a row, and the last 2 games, they were winning or tying the game with 10 seconds remaining or less. So it's a bit unfortunate. They could still win this awful division. Baker's playing really well, but they need to win this one because the 49ers are waiting. Titans.
Taking the Titans. As for the Titans, they've got their cute quarterback, and I like him. He looks to be a bit of a gunslinger. The Steelers' defense is incredible, and he played really well. I'm looking forward to watching the Titans games again, which is nice. But I do wonder how Vrabel will go with Caleb Williams at the Patriots next season. As for the Bucks, I only wonder whether or not they're going to bench Baker. As it seems like that hot streak was just Tebow-esque, and I could see them benching Baker to see what they have in Kyle Trask. I'm taking the Titans. And we are moving straight on to Browns at Ravens. The Browns coming off a 27-0 win against the Cardinals, and the Ravens coming off a 37-3 win against the Seahawks. The Browns shut out the Cardinals, who had some random dude at quarterback. I'd like to see how Deshaun performs against a quality opposition like the Ravens, but he'll probably be hurt or something this week. As for the Ravens, they've absolutely stomped the Seahawks. Lamar is something else to these NFC teams. Even to AFC teams, he's tough. The Ravens will be too good here. An upset, though, it wouldn't surprise me if they're looking towards the Bengals before putting away the Browns, but I am taking the Ravens.
The Browns, this is their biggest test of the year. These are the best 2 defenses for yards allowed, and both teams are in the top 3 for points allowed. So whoever wins the turnover battle, I think will win this game. The Ravens, Lamar protects the ball. He's only thrown 3 interceptions in these 9 games. So I think the Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now, but all AFC North teams are above 500, so they can't afford any division losses, and I don't think they'll have one this week. I'm taking the Ravens.
So we'll move on to the 49ers, who just had the bye, at the Jags, who just had the bye. You can kick this one off, mate.
Thanks, mate. 49ers, they needed the rest. They were not playing great before. Off a 3-game losing streak, I believe. But I cannot wait to see Chase Young and Bosa lining up together. So good luck, Trevor Lawrence. Jags, they are third in the conference, and the division is all but one. 5-game winning streak, home field advantage, and a massive advantage at quarterback. I'm taking the Jags.
As for the 49ers, they're back off the bye, which they needed. I just have questions. Like, is Purdy fit? Does it even really matter? Are they done? I've just got so many questions. I want to see them play. But yeah, Chase Young and Bosa, that's going to be entertaining. As for the Jags, I had them potentially first in the AFC, and Lawrence is an MVP candidate. I can't see that happening right now. They need to start getting going if they want to make me right. And I'd like to be right. I'm taking the Jags. So we will move on to the Saints, your Saints, at the Vikings. The Saints coming off a 24-17 win over the Bears, and the Vikings coming off a 31-28 win over the Falcons. The Saints snuck by the Bears. Of course they did. You can keep Derek Carr, Shane. Go Vikings. Dobbs is having a crazy season. It's really enjoyable. I hope they win so I can rub it in your gigantic melon. What Josh Dobbs did is insane. Is he the best Josh in the NFL? He's certainly the best Josh in this conversation. I'm taking the Vikings. Over to you, buddy.
No doubt about him being the best Josh in this conversation. The Saints, 12-5 is still on. Pretty much halfway there. The car did what was required. He went at 73% completion, no interceptions. That's all you have to do against these bad teams, and their division is filled with them. So it doesn't have to do much more. Vikings, Jaron Hall getting hurt early was probably the best thing that could have happened to this team because he's not good. Dobbs is much better, but I can't see him backing up that emotional win. Saints in a close one.
He'll lead him. He's got it, mate. Moving on to the Lions at the Chargers. The Lions coming off the bye. Sorry. Moving on to Australia's team, the Detroit Lions at the Chargers. Australia's team, the Detroit Lions, coming off the bye, and the Chargers coming off a 27-6 win against the Jets. Take it away, mate.
So it was a pretty tough week of Australia's team not playing. A little bit boring for everyone involved in the NFL, but they are well rested. Voice crack. They're well rested. Gibbs and Montgomery should run straight through the Chargers. I'm looking for Williams and St. Brown to get open downfield. Australia's team to win this one quite comfortably. The Chargers, now that Josh McDaniels, who I called the offensive version of Brandon Staley, is fired, the only Brandon Staley in the league is Brandon Staley. So we get to watch how insipid his coaching is. That'll do. Taking the Lions.
It's more than enough. It was beautiful. All right. Australia's team, the Detroit Lions, off the bye against a hopelessly coached Chargers. They'll be too smart for the Chargers. As for the Chargers, I still hold hope that for Herbert and won't give up on him if they get a new bloody coach. Don't let a Zach Wilson masterclass fool you into thinking that the Chargers are any good because of Brandon Staley. I'm taking the Lions. We are now moving on to the Falcons at the Cardinals. The Falcons coming off that 31-28 loss to the Vikings, and Cardinals coming off that 27-0 loss to the Browns. The Falcons stink. The Cardinals, I've heard that Kyler's back, so I'm picking the Cardinals. Over to you, mate.
The Falcons lost to a QB that hadn't practiced with the team, and they don't deserve any more of our time. The Cardinals, they don't care, so why should I? Clayton Tune at QB? Okay. I hope Kyler Murray's back. I'm taking the Falcons.
We'll move straight on as quickly as possible past that game to the Giants at the Cowboys. The Giants coming off that 30-6 loss to the Raiders, and the Cowboys coming off a 28-23 loss to the Eagles. Over to you, man.
So Daniel Jones is out for the year, and that's really sad for Daniel Jones. Tommy DeVito looks like a third-string quarterback would look, so they need to tank for Caleb because there's nothing else coming from this season. Cowboys, they were so close, but so far, it's just classic Dallas. Get close in a big game and pull a Dallas. Dak was amazing. Lamb and Ferguson, the tight end, were fantastic. They had more plays, more first downs, more yards, and still couldn't win. But this week, Cowboys 56-3.
It's generous giving the Giants a field goal.
Yeah, I know.
Giants suck. As for the Cowboys, Damn it, Dak. I was actually really impressed. It was unlucky at the end. The little inches cost you, but Dak's impressing me this year. He's always making me look silly, and I normally just do that myself. This was a coaching mismatch, which happens often for Dallas. The clock management by McCarthy is hilarious and horrendous. I mean, how many more times can this guy get it wrong at the end of a game? He needs the guy that Nathaniel Hackett got because it helped him so much. I'm taking the Cowboys. Moving on to the Commanders at the Seahawks. Commanders coming off that 20-17 win over the Patriots, and the Seahawks coming off getting smashed 37-3 by the Ravens. The Commanders beat the Patriots. Good on them. I've heard a rumor that they're taking Bill Belichick, and he's going to take Josh McDaniels too. Enjoy that. As for the Seahawks, they should be and will be angry. They were lucky to get more than a 3-and-out on most drives. They will smash the Commanders. Taking the Seahawks. Over to you, man.
So the Commanders, Sam Howell looks at times like he could be a franchise quarterback, but then at times he throws interceptions like he did last week, and you have so many questions. But he was clearly the best quarterback on the field last week against Mac Jones, so that's a thing that happened.
It was really tough to do that.
Yes,
sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. Seahawks, I wouldn't panic. That's what the Ravens do to all NFC teams. They did to the greatest NFC team of all, the Australian team, Detroit Lions. But they need a big bounce-back game this week, and I'm taking who I think currently has the better quarterback, which is the Commanders.
Oh, that's a surprise. Moving on to the Jets at the Raiders. The Jets coming off that 27-6 loss to the Chargers, and the Raiders coming off a 30-6 win over the Giants. Over to you, Mr. Shane.
NFL, please flex this game. Move on. Taking the Raiders.
Nice. I have a bit to say about this game. Zach Wilson couldn't play as good as he was for that long. And yes, I'm saying he was playing good. Didn't in this game, but he was. However, the Jets are exactly what I thought they would be, even if Rodgers remained fit. They've lost to the Pats, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Chargers by beating the Bills, Broncos, Eagles, and Giants. If Rodgers plays, I would argue that they'd probably beat the Patriots, but they wouldn't surprise the Bills or the Eagles. As for the Raiders, are they good now? Probably not. But here's a better question. Is Jacoby Myers the wide receiver run? Currently has more touchdowns than Adams, and it's definitely because Adams takes two defenders that Jacoby looks good. But I'm putting it out there anyway. Couldn't half tell this team was happy to see their coach gone. I'm taking the Jets. Moving on to my favorite game of the week. Actually, it's not. It's just my favorite team to talk about. Bills at the Broncos. Bills coming off that 24-18 loss to the Bengals, and the Broncos coming off the bye. Going to start with the Bills, mate. I told you. I've been telling you. Buffalo are the AFC's Vikings. 4 Super Bowl losses. They're only winning divisions because the guy who dominated it for decades left, and all it takes is one team to go, nah, we have our shit together now, and they're imploding. If that doesn't sound like Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess that also makes the Patriots the Bears in this situation. I played myself there. This team is a threat to no contender. Every year it's the same story. Why does anyone think it's ever going to change? Shut up, timer. I'm not done. Calling an audible as soon as I can hit the button. You can't honestly take someone serious if they're saying to you that the Bills are a Super Bowl favorite and Josh Allen can win an MVP. It's just people refusing to adapt to information and being stubborn. This team is going nowhere but downhill, and they'll do something in the offseason if McDermott stays. Like they'll sign some random linebacker and everyone will be like, oh, look, they're improving, but they won't. As for the Broncos, the Bills can't lose this, can they? I'm taking the Broncos. Over you, buddy.
Good rant, by the way. I'm going to keep it much shorter than you did. So the Broncos, it seems like Sean Payton has worked this out for this team, and I can see him winning at least 6 of the rest of the games this season. Have a look at the fixture. Tell me if you disagree. The Bills, I don't know, you're actually right on something for once. They just keep blowing games. They can't beat the best teams, especially when it matters. Josh Allen, he looked good, but that interception, goddamn, he's good for at least one of those every week. I think he's thrown an interception in the last 5 games. I'm taking the Bills, but I don't know why. Probably just to be different from you.
Fair enough. That wraps it up. We've got the teams who are on the bye, which are the Chiefs, who it was the perfect time for them to go on the bye. So Andy Reid can sort their shit out on offense. The Rams have got nothing to say because no one cares. The Dolphins, enjoy the break. They need to get better next year. That's right. I'm saying they're pretty much done. And the Eagles, perfect time for the bye to refresh themselves and galvanize for a Super Bowl run. That's all I've got to say, buddy.
But of teams on the bye, something to really look forward to both of these teams. Kansas City and Philly play each other after the bye. So that is going to be massive. Super Bowl rematch and potentially a Super Bowl preview for this year. The other two teams, Dolphins are still relevant, but they keep losing to, I was going to say good teams. Buffalo, they lost to Buffalo too. They can't beat the better teams, so who cares? Stafford's out for the Rams. Brett Rippon sucks, so who cares? Yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Chiefs Eagles will be really entertaining because Eagles seem to turn quarterbacks into superheroes, and that's the last thing you want to do to Patrick Mahomes.
You'll find his cape.
I'm sure he will. Anyway, as always, follow us on all our socials, the 30-second drill on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for all our wonderful shorts, and don't email us unless it's for sponsorship or opportunities. And this week's sponsor is water, which is what's inside this, even though you can't see it. Thanks, water, for hydrating us. See you next week, buddy.
You're a dickhead. See you, mate. I've got nothing.